Are back, and we're going to keep reading from The Lost Keys of Masonry, The Legend of Hiram Abiff by Manly P. Hall. Last night we finished the part of the Emerald Tablets, and the next section it just says text, and it reads, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up in the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshoppers shall be a burden, and desire shall fall, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go and the mourners go about the streets, or either the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken of the foundation, or the wheel at its cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it." Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1 through 7. I'm wondering if when it just talked about the silver cord be loose, and I'm talking about if that might be referring to astral projection, because when people astral project, they claim that there's like this silver cord that's still like attached to their physical body as their astral body goes out. Sounds like a lot of strange metaphors in this these 7 verses from Ecclesiastes. Like it's talking about grasshoppers and almond trees. I wonder what all this is metaphorical about. And I don't think they're talking about it literally. All right, the next section is entitled Temple Builders. "You are the temple builders of the future. With your hands must be raised the domes and spires of a coming civilization. Upon the foundation you have laid, tomorrow shall build a far more noble edifice. Builders of the temples of character wherein should dwell unenlightened spirit, truer of the rock of relationship, molder of those vessels created to contain the oil of life up and to the tasks appointed. Never before in the history of men have you had the opportunity that now confronts you. The world waits for the illuminated one who shall come from between the pillars of the portico or portico. Let me look that word up really quick. Hang on 1 second. Portico. All right, hang on. I'm pulling it up on Google. It says, a structure consisting of a roof or supported by columns at regular intervals, typically attached as a porch to a building. Okay. Hoodwinked and bound, humanity seeks entrance to the temple of wisdom. Fling wide the gate and let the worthy enter. Fling wide the gate and let the light shine forth, for that light is the life of men. Hasten to complete the dwelling of the Lord. The Spirit of God may come and dwell among his people, sanctified and ordained according to his law. And then the next section is entitled Prologue in the Fields of Chaos. The first flush of awakening life thrilled and gleamed through the darkness of cosmic night, turned the darkness of negation into the dim twilight of unfolding being, and cast its faint glimmering rays over a strange form which stood alone, on the cloudy banks of swirling substances. Robed in shimmery blue vapor of mystery, his head encircled by a golden crown of flaming light, a mystic stranger stood there, from his divine shrouded in the folds of chaos, whose darkness fled before the rays that poured like streams of living fire from his gigantic, misty form, silhouetted in faint relief against the shadowed gateways of eternity. For some cosmos greater far than ours, this mystic visitor came, answering the call of divinity. From star to star he strode, and from world to universe he was known, and yet concealed forever by the filmy garments of chaotic night. Suddenly the clouds broke, and a wondrous light descended from somewhere among the seething waves of force. It bathed this lonely form in a radiance celestial, each sparkling crystal of mist gleaming like a diamond bathed in the living fire of the divine. Two great forms appeared in the gleaming flame of cosmic light, bordered by the dark clouds of not being, and a mighty voice thrilled through eternity, each sparkling atom dancing, swaying and swirling with the power of the Creator's world, while the great blue robe figure bowed in awe before the footstool of his Maker, and a great hand reached down from the heaven, its fingers extended in benediction. There's a little asterisk next to the part where it says the Creator's world, so I think there might be a little footnote at the bottom of this that'll explain what they mean there. Of all creation I have chosen you, and upon you my seal is placed. You are the chosen instrument of my hand, and I choose you to be the builder of my temple. You shall rise its pillars and tile its floors. You shall ornament it with metals and with jewels, and you shall be the master of my workmen. Into your hands I place the plans, and here on the tracing board of living substance I impress the plan you are to follow, tracing its every letter and angle in the fiery lines of my moving finger. Hiram Abiff, chosen builder of your father's house, up and to your work yonder are the fleecy clouds and gray mist of dawn, the gleams of heavenly light and the darkness of the sleep of creation. Let's read that little footnote right there where it says the creative fiat or rate of vibration through which all things are created. So that was the footnote for where it said the Creator's world. So when it said, and being a mighty voice thrilled through eternity, each sparkling atom dancing, swaying and swirling with the power of the Creator's world. They're talking about vibrations, and they're talking about atoms. Remember, if you look at atoms under a microscope, the atoms is just the smallest thing that makes up everything, and all of the atoms are just little balls of energy vibrating at different speeds, and they're 99.99% empty, which is the proof that we live in a vibrational universe, that matter is an illusion, nothing is truly solid. And this is all very these are references to a very highly advanced understanding of quantum physics and how sounds and frequencies and vibrations are rendering the world in which we experience. And it says it right there in that little footnote. Again, I'm going to read the footnote. It says the creative fiat or rate of vibration through which all things are created. So they're talking about basically what this is talking about is basically this guy Hiram got contacted by some very highly advanced being from another planet, and he's basically teaching them, and he's giving him the knowledge and the mission to go out into the world and be a co-creator through the use of vibration. And this is like the law of attraction, the law of resonance type stuff that they're talking about. Really deep stuff here. All right, let's continue. From these shall you build without the sound of hammers or the voice of workmen, the temple of your God eternal in the heavens. The swirling, ceaseless motion of negation you shall chain to grind your stones. Among these spirits of not being shall you shall you slack your lime and lay your footings, for I have watched you through the years of your youth I have guided you through the days of your manhood. I have weighed you in the balance, and you have not been found wanting. Therefore, to you give I the glory of work, and here ordain you as the builder of my house. Unto you I give the word of the master builder. Unto you I give the tools of the craft. Unto you I give the power that has been vested in me. Be faithful unto these things. Bring them back when you have finished, and I will give you the name known to God alone. So mote it be. So it sounds like he's either giving him some kind of highly advanced knowledge of cymatic frequencies, possibly even giving him an actual physical tool, like some kind of frequency generator or some kind of waveform synthesizing tool or something like that. The great light died out of the heavens. The streaming fingers of living light vanished through the misty, lonely twilight, and again covered not being with its sable mantle. Hiram again stood alone, gazing out into the endless ocean of oblivion, nothing but swirling, seething matter as far as the eye could see. Then, rising, he straightened his shoulders and, taking the trestle board in his hands and grasping to his heart the word of the master, which sparkled and gleamed in the darkness of the night. Hiram Abiff slowly walked out over the clouds and vanished through the mist, which swallowed up even the glowing spark of the master's word. How many man measures timeless eternity? Ages passed, and the lonely builder labored with his plan with only love and humility in his heart, his hand molding the darkness which he blessed, while his eyes were raised above where the great light has shone down from heaven. In the divine solitude he labored, no voice cheer, no spirit to condemn, alone in the boundless all, with the great chill of the morning mist upon his brow, but his heart still warm with the light of the master's word. I wonder if this being that contacted them was Hermes himself. It seems a hopeless battle. No single pair of hands could mold the darkness. No single heart, no matter how true, could be great enough to send the pulsing cosmic love into the cold mist of oblivion. The darkness settled even closer about the darkness settled even closer about him. The misty fingers of negation twined around his being, and still with divine trust the builder labored. With divine hope he laid his footings, and from the boundless clay he made the molds to cast his sacred ornaments. Slowly the building grew, and dim forms molded by the master's hand took shape about him. 3 great, soulless creatures had the master fashioned, great, towering beings, which appeared in half darkness like grim specters. And then the next part is, there's a little title here. It says, in the fields of chaos. Oh, wait, actually, no, never mind. I think that was the whole part we were reading. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, let me continue here. From these you shall build. Oh no, wait, sorry, I lost my spot. Okay, I found it. All right, there were 3 builders he blessed, and now in stately file they passed before him. And Hiram held out his arms to his creation, saying, "Brothers, I have built you for your works. I have formed you to labor with me in the building of the master's house. You are the children of my being. I have labored with you. Now labor with me for the glory of God." I wonder if these 3 builders that he's talking about were the same initiates that wrote the Kybalion, because the Kybalion is a book all about the Hermetic occult teachings, and it's written by 3 initiates. But the specters laughed and turned upon their maker, and striking him with his own tools, giving to him by God out of heaven. But the specters laughed and turned upon their maker, and striking him with his own tools, given to him by God out of heaven. They left their Grand Master dying in the midst of his labors, broken and crushed by the threefold powers of cosmic light. As he lay bleeding at the feet of his handiwork, the martyr builder raised his eyes to the seething clouds, and his face was sweet with divine love and cosmic understanding as he prayed unto the Master who has sent him forth. Okay, now that the part that I read in the previous where they were talking about his murderer, and I even asked, I was like, I wonder what that means. Okay, now it's starting to all make sense now that I read further into it. O Master of workmen, great architect of the universe, my labors are not finished. Why must they always remain undone? I have not completed the thing for which thou hast sent me into being, for my very creations have turned against me, and the tools thou gavest me have destroyed me. The children that I formed in love in ignorant, or excuse me, that I formed in love in ignored me, or excuse me, in ignorance have murdered me. Here, Father, as a word thou gavest me, now read with my own blood, O Master, I return it to thee, for I have kept it sacred in my heart. Here are the tools, the tracing board, and the vessels I have wrought. Around me stand the ruins of my temple, which I must leave. Unto thee, O God, the divine knower of all things, I return them all, realizing that in thy good time lies the fulfillment of all things. Thou, O God, knowest our downsitting and our uprising, and thou understandest our thoughts afar off. In thy name, Father, I have labored, and in thy cause I die, a faithful builder. The Master fell back, his upturned face sweet in the last repose of death, and the light rays no longer poured from him. The gray clouds gathered closer as though to form a winding sheet around the body of their murdered master. Suddenly the heavens opened again, and a great glow descended as a sparkling ray, and surrounding the form of Hiram, bathed in light celestial. And again the voice spoke from the heavens above, where the great king sat above the clouds of creation. He is not dead, he is asleep. Who shall awaken him? His labors are not done, and in death he guards the sacred relics more closely than ever. For the word and the tracing board are his. I have given to him, but he must remain asleep until these three who have slain him shall bring him back to life. For every wrong must be righted, and the slayers of my house, the destroyers of my temple, must labor in the place of their builder until they raise their master from the dead. The three murderers fell on their knees and raised their hands to the heavens as though to ward off the light which unearthed their crime. O God, great is our sin, for we have slain our Grand Master Hiram Abiff. Just is thy punishment, and as we have slain him, we now dedicate our lives to his resurrection. The first was our human weakness, the second our sacred duty. Be it so, answered the voice from heaven. The light vanished, and the clouds of the darkness and the mist concealed the body of the murdered master. It was swallowed up in the darkness, which swirling and swaying left no mark, no gravestone on the place where the builder had lain. O God, cried the three murderers, where shall we find our master now? The hand reached down again from the great unseen, and a tiny lamp was handed them, whose oil flame burned silently and clearly in the darkness. By this light which I have given ye shall ye seek whom ye have slain. The three forms surrounded the light and bowed in prayer and thanksgiving for the solitary gleam which was to light the darkness of their way. From somewhere above in the regions of not being, the great voice spoke, a thundering voice that filled chaos with its sound. He cometh forth as a flower and is cut down. His fleece also as a shadow and a continuous knot. As the waters fail from the sea, and the flood decayeth and drieth up, so man lieth down and riseth not again. Yet I have compassion upon the children of my creation. I administer unto them in time of trouble, and save them with the everlasting salvation. Seek ye where the broken twig lies, and where the dead stick molds away, where the clouds float together, and where the stones rest by the hillside. For all these mark the grave of Hiram, who has carried my will with him to the tomb. The eternal quest is yours until ye have found your builder, until the cup giveth up its secret. Until the grave giveth up its ghosts, I shall speak to ye no more, until ye have found and raised my beloved Son, and have listed to the words of my messenger with him as your guide, have finished the temple which I shall then inhabit. Amen. The gray dawn still lay asleep in the arms of darkness, out through the great mystery of not being. All was silenced, unknowable. Through the misty dawn, like strange phantoms of a dream, three figures wandered over the great unknown, carrying in their hands a tiny light, the lamp given to them by their builder's father. They wandered eternally in search of a silent grave. Over stick and stone and cloud and star they wandered, stopping again and again to explore the depths of some mystic recess, praying for liberation from their endless search, yet bound by vows eternal to raise the builder they had slain, whose grave was marked by the broken twig, and whose body was laid away in the white winding sheet of death somewhere over the brow of the eternal hill. All right, that is the end of that little section. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, and we'll continue in a different uploaded video.